This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Guys, last class video it corrupted actually due to some technical problem of GoToMeeting. So I just shared the same topic from the previous class. Content is same. You can just watch. Okay. All right. So in today's class, we are going to see the next topic, and that is the very basic UI elements in SAP UI5. Very basic. Okay, not medium complex, also very basic. We are starting with the very basic. So in today's class, we are going to discuss four very basic UI elements and their properties. But remember, I'm not doing any screen designing today. Okay, so we have the separate screen designing topic on Monday. So in that class, you will understand how to do the screen designing, how to perfectly give the layout. All that stuff will start from Monday. Okay. So I'm just showing you the basic UI elements and their properties. So you no need to worry about the arrangement or alignment, all that stuff. And second thing we are going to discuss in today's class is about the CSS, and this CSS is called the standard CSS. Now, what is this standard CSS? That also you will understand in today's class. So this is very important, guys. In real time, we use this a lot. Okay. All right. I'm commenting this button for a while and I will keep it later. So let us take, let me write down the very basic UI elements first. The first one is called the text UI element. The text UI element is used to display some text on the screen. Whenever you want to display some text on the screen, you can just use the text UI element. So the tag starts like a text, text text. Okay, and then the property name is text, and you can write some text like welcome to SAP UI5. Now save it. Let's have a look in the output window. So you will get a text like welcome to SAP UI5 here. All right. Now let us see if there is any properties that the text UI element has. The text UI element has another property called text align, and you can give begin or you can give left, center, or right. So let me give center. But this property alone will not make the text alignment to the center. So I have given text alignment as center, but the text will not really go to the center. Still it appears at the left. So you can just wait. Yeah. You can still see that the text is coming at the left hand side, but it has not moved to the center. The reason is the text align property needs another property called width. When you give width equal to 100% or some percentage, then only it understands what is left, what is center, and what is right. Okay, now let us see. I have given width equal to 100%. Now the text will go and stand at the center. So some people might have a confusion. Why only this text align property did not work? Why it has worked only after giving the width? So you don't need to give width 100%, you can give 90%, you can give 50%. It does not matter, but you need to give the width. So the reason is, for example, If I ask you to stand at the center of the room, you will definitely go and stand at the center of the room because you know the room's boundaries, everything, and definitely you can simply go and stand at the center of the room. But let's say I have taken you to a open land, there is no boundaries at all, and I asked you, go and stand at the center. There is no limit for that land, and I simply ask you to just go and stand at the center. Now you will immediately ask me in return, Rizwan, with respect to what? With respect to what I need to stand at the center, because this land has no limit. Okay, so same, this particular text alignment property, it does not know what is center, what is left, what is right. The moment you have given the width equal to 100%, then it understands that from here to here, this is my area. From this place to this place is my area, and now it can go and stand at the center. Right. Whenever we see a text UI element, one thing that comes into your mind is to increase its font size, to increase the font size, correct? Now, anything that related to beautification belongs to CSS. So CSS means beautification. The beautification can be anything. Now let me write down what comes under the beautification. First one is coloring. Second one is applying fonts. Third one is applying margins. So these comes under the CSS. Applying colors, applying fonts, applying margins. All these are the beautification of a web page. We already discussed that SAP strongly recommend not to apply colors. Why? So let's say I applied some color to this particular text. So we know that when the application goes to the launchpad, in the launchpad also the text appears in the same color. Now in the launchpad, does only one application exist? No. The launchpad contains so many applications. And in those applications, there can be standard applications, there can be custom applications, there can be Fiori-like applications, there can be Fiori elements applications. So especially the Fiori, these three categories, Fiori-like apps or Fiori elements apps or standard apps, they comes with the default colors of Fiori. They don't come with, for example, if I apply a red color here, so that red color you will not find in these three categories. So the end user, when he open your application developed by you, he will find the text in red color, whereas uh, in other tiles, in other applications, that red color is not there. And it looks very awkward, one application appearing in some color and another applications appearing in other colors. So this is the primary reason why SAP do not recommend to write any CSS related to coloring, but instead you simply use the theme builder tool and apply the standard themes that are given by SAP, or if you do not like the standard themes that are given by SAP, you apply your own theme. You create your own theme, and in that theme, you keep what color you want and apply it, just like the way this has been done. So this is not any standard color of SAP. You can see this is a sea green color. So this sea green color is applied using theme builder tool. So once you apply that sea green color, now whatever the button colors, so whatever you set in that theme, all those colors will appear across all the applications, not only for a single application. So this point we already discussed in one of the class. Okay, right. So that means this option is ruled out. We should not write any coloring options. Next one is fonts. So I can increase or decrease a font of maybe one or two labels, right? Okay, see, I'm not talking about the font of entire application. I'm just talking about maybe a particular title. I want to increase the font. Yes, you can do that. Okay. If you take a application, so all these are the labels. All these are the labels. All the labels will have the same size. All the labels will have the same size. But what I'm talking about is some heading or might be kind of I want to highlight a particular text with some uh, font size. So those things can be done individually for each and every application as well. Okay, most of the application should look uniform, but one or two text that you want to be a particular font size, yes, you can do that. So in case you want to increase a font size or decrease a font size, how you will do? Actually, we need to write the CSS. We need to write the CSS inside the CSS folder. Actually, we need to write the CSS inside the CSS folder before the year 2016. But what SAP has done a beautiful thing, and that is SAP want the developer to concentrate on the business logic rather than the beautification. You don't want the developer to concentrate on the beautification, so SAP has given something called standard CSS. Boss, I am giving you the standard CSS, you use it so that you no need to write the CSS for this particular inside this CSS file as well. Okay, now let us see how can I increase the font size of the text without writing any CSS code inside this style.css. So you just need to write class equal to, class means CSS class, equal to SAP yum h1 font size, and that's all. This particular text will increase into the h1 font size. So h1 is a particular size of the text, and you can see this has changed to welcome to SAP UI5. Before 2016 or 15, this option is not there. So SAP has not introduced this standard CSS. At that time, developers used to write the CSS inside the style.css. I will show you that as well. Okay. But basically what I'm telling you is you no need to write the CSS code even for the font size and margins. So these two also given in the form of standard CSS. There are many developers in the real time who don't know this because initially when SAP UI5 was released, at that time this concept is not there. So they're still in the same illusion that they need to write the CSS for these things. No, even that is also not required now. SAP says, boss, keep this file as empty as possible. Keep this file as empty as possible. Okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm removing this, and in case I want to increase the font size using this CSS, how to write? The standard CSS to increase or decrease the font size is SAP yum h1 font size, right? Now this is the CSS class given by SAP. Now since I want to write on my own CSS class, so you need to write it here, my text font, okay, my text font size, something, whatever the name that you want to keep, you can keep it. But this particular CSS class must start with the dot, that is a syntax, and inside you need to write font hyphen size, and let me give some 17 pixels. All right, now copy this CSS class, and you need to write class equal to and your own CSS class. And that's all. Now let us see what happens. So 17 pixels is coming like that. Now let me increase it to maybe 50 pixels. Now you will see there is a huge difference in the size. I think this has save, refresh. All right, now you can see the big size in the font. So before the year 2016, yes, there is no option for this increase or decrease of the font size and margins. So we used to write the CSS. But not now. It is no more needed. You can simply use the SAP's given CSS, and there is a lot of advantages if you use the uh, font size, all the standard CSS that are given by SAP. So these CSS classes which are given by SAP, they are so much compatible even with the next versions of SAP UI5. We know that SAP UI5 started with the version 1.0 and now it is 101 point something. Okay. Do you know the latest version of SAP UI5? It is somewhere around more than 100, 101 something. So we got 1 to 1.1, 1 point something, and now it is somewhere around, it's, even I don't remember exactly, but it is somewhere around 1.1, so 101 something. Okay. So the advantage of using the standard CSS is it always compatible with the latest themes that are given by SAP UI5, and you will not find any problem when you use the standard CSS. But if you use your own CSS, might be some themes, there might be some themes which it may not adjust, or which may not work. So these kind of problems we have encountered already in the real time. So that is the reason SAP always recommend you to use the standard CSS given by him. Okay. All right. So I'm removing this or commenting this, and I will go with the standard CSS, SAP H1 font size. All right. Yeah. Right. So now let us go with the next UI element, and that is label. So label is used to design the forms. So whenever you want to design the forms, like employee form, product form, whatever, so at that time you use labels. Now let me show you what is a label. See, all these left-hand side one are the labels. All these are the labels. So if I click on this, so all this is label. Left hand side one is label, not the right hand side. Right hand side are the values for that particular label. Okay. All right. So now let me type a label. Label also has the text property. Now let me give the text as entered your name. The labels will not stand alone. The labels will always associated with some input taking UI elements. So for example, if you take the application, the label always associated with some input taking UI elements, or the label associated with some display of values. But one point to remember is labels will not stand as a individually. A text can stand individually. For example, if you take this text, yeah, text can be alone without associated with any other UI element. But labels should not stand alone. However, technically you can just write only the label, but in real time you will not just write a label without some input taking UI elements. Okay. Now let me write a input field as well. Input. Now this input field without any other properties will occupy a full length of the screen. See, this is the label and this is the input field which is occupying the complete full length of the screen. Okay. But anyway, as I told you, I'm not designing the screen, so don't worry about the size, width, all that stuff. For today's class, I'm just reducing the width of the input field by using a width property. So I'm using the input field as a width property to 30%. So I've used it. So now you can see this is the label and this is the input field. Now let us see some properties of these UI elements and then we'll talk about the margin CSS class. So which is very, very important. In real time, we use this like anything. Okay, so the label does not have much properties. It has some property like required equal to true. So the required equal to true property gives you a star mark for the label to indicate that this field is mandatory. So I have given required equal to true and you can find there is a star mark that is appearing for this label to indicate that boss, this field is mandatory. Okay, you need to fill it. Even when you open some web applications, you will find a few fields as mandatory and they will be indicated with star, correct? So just like that. Now let us see some important properties of the input field. So label just has only those properties, guys, nothing else. Now input field. The input field got very interesting properties. The first property is max length. If I give the max length as 10, maximum end user can enter only 10 characters and not more than that. So let us see. I'm trying to enter one of your name, for example. Uh, so let me take one of your Sai Krishna, for example. SAIKRISHNA. Sai Krishna. I think it's not more than 10 characters, so that is sufficient. Let me increase it with Nadella. See, I think Sai Krishna is 10 characters, right? So let us count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, exactly 10 characters. I'm trying to type the initial, the surname like Nadella, but it is not allowing because all the 10 characters are over. Okay, so this is a very important property, guys. So you will get the requirements like the employee name should not cross more than 25 characters or 20 characters. So in that case, you simply need to go to that input field and you need to give the property max length equal to 25 or 20, whatever given by the client. So very, very important property, max length. Okay. All right. And the input field also has the property called value. And if you give some value, for example, Rizwan, and this input field will be automatically filled with this value. See, it automatically contains the value called Rizwan. Okay. So there are other properties of the input field as well. So those properties we will discuss down the line when we actually come up with the another concepts. Okay. For example, you can also convert this input field. So this is a input field. You can also convert this input field like a this is called a value help dialog, or this can also be called as a F4 help dialog. So where you can search for the employee that you want, maybe by using employee ID or name or designation something, and then you can select it like this. So this feature uh, on the input field, this is the input field only, but the feature on this input field is called F4 help dialog or value help dialog. So these things you will understand in the future. Okay, so as of now, these properties are enough for the input field. Okay, now let us see the next UI element, which is button. So the button has the properties like text, for example, submit. Now let us save and see how it looks. So this is the button. So without applying, SAP UI5 has given the buttons with three colors by default, and he asked us to use these buttons for positive, negative, and neutral scenarios. So let me explain what exactly it is. The button got a property called type, and in the type, if I use type equal to accept, okay, so this type equal to accept will give you a green color button. So let us see a green bordered button. Yeah, so this is what is called the green color button, and we use this kind of color, the green color, for positive scenarios. For positive scenarios, for example, if you observe our application, go is in green color, but reset it is in red color, right? Delete employee, it is in red color. Is it or not? So if you go to a create employee screen, the save button, it is in green color, but the cancel button, it is in red color. So these colors are called as semantic colors. So in the CSS, they are actually not part of the CSS, but they are part of something called semantic colors. So these semantic colors are given by SAP, and in our business applications, in all our business applications, we use only these semantic colors. Okay. So wherever you have a positive scenario, you need to use the green color. Wherever you have a negative scenario, you need to use the red color. Wherever there is a neutral scenario, you need to use blue color. And this is one of the standard that we maintain in entire SAP applications. Okay, so you find green color not only in one application, wherever you go to SAP applications, in standard applications, in in your Fiori elements applications, wherever you go, you find the positive scenario like save, submit. So for all these positive scenarios, you find the green color button. You will find the red color button for danger scenarios like delete, restrict, reject, remove, cancel. So for all these danger kind of options, you use red color. And for the neutral scenarios, like I just want to go from one page to other page, which is not a positive scenario, which is not a negative scenario, so we use the neutral color blue. Okay, and this particular, even this green, red, and blue, they all always slightly vary basing on the theme. Obviously, it has to slightly vary. For a darker color themes, so it can appear light. For a lighter color themes, it can appear dark. So basically, you just need to use the semantic colors and automatically it changes as per the theme. Okay. Uh, for example, if you see this green, if you see this button's green, this is not same as this green. Why? Because that theme is different, so automatically it adapts. So basing on the theme that you are using, it automatically adapts. Your job is, if you want green color, you need to write type equal to accept. That's all. You need to write type equal to accept. You will get green color. So this green color, basing on the theme that you are using, will differ. Okay. So for example, this button, this save button, and this button, we have given the green color. For example, if you take this one, this is a green color. This is a green color. How this green color has come? Type equal to accept. How this red color has come? Type equal to reject. So here, instead of giving accept, if I give type equal to reject, so you will get a red color button. Stay tuned. So you'll find a red color button here. Yeah, you got a red color button. Now, this red color button, if I change the theme, so let me go to the index.html and I'm changing this theme to the blue crystal, for example, SAP underscore blue crystal. I changed the total theme SAP underscore blue crystal. Now, observe the button. The button will come in red color, but the red color will be according to this particular theme. Now see this particular red color, this is completely different. You know, even though this is red, but this is different from the red that appeared previously because that theme is different and this theme is different. So this is what I'm telling you. Your job is to use type equal to reject and type equal to accept, and the theme, basing on the theme, these colors will change. And this is also one of the reason why SAP strongly says, boss, you don't write any CSS for coloring of the buttons, and that is good for us as well, right? Because we don't need to write the CSS, so developer's job become easy. If you write the CSS for this particular button, do you know what happens? It may work for that particular current scenario, but the moment you change the theme or the moment SAP UI upgrades to the next version and all, so your CSS is gone. It will no more work. Okay, so
Rizwan, I
that's,
have a question.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Rizwan, do we have any CPUI5 documentation which tells about these UI element that if I want to use a green color button, like you have said, right? Three colors are there. How we will know? Right, right now in the class we are able to know, but later if we want to know, is there any other feature available for a particular UI element? So how we will know? Is there any documentation of SAP for these UI
See,
element?
anything is present, everything is present in APA. In the APA, you can see all these things. I will show you. Okay. See,
Okay.
for this buttons, I'm talking about the buttons. So buttons has semantic colors. Okay. So even you- so if you take this one, so this is a text that is appearing. So this is coming in orange color. This is also called semantic color. Okay. So for buttons, he has given red, green, and blue. So this is called text. So the text also has the red, green, and orange. So extra color orange is present for the text. So you will understand. Don't worry on that. Okay, I will show you a way to see as well. Okay. So that's basically the type equal to accept gives you green color button, type equal to reject gives you a red color button, and the type equal to emphasized will give you a complete blue color button. So I have used type equal to emphasized and you got the blue color button, but I did not like this theme. So let me change the theme back to the fiery underscore 3 underscore dark. All right. So now you got complete blue colored button. Okay. So your job is just to write type equal to emphasized, and that's all. You'll get a blue color button. So one point to remember is most of the students ask me a question. Rizwan, I want a yellow color button. This is what you need to understand. This is not some other technology where you create a web applications in the open market. No, this is SAP business applications. There is a difference between a business application and a web application. Web application is used by anybody in the entire world, but business applications are used by only those business guys of that organization. Example, I'm in Infosys. For example, I'm in Infosys. I use a application from Infosys. Can you use that? No, you cannot use that because you are outside the organization. Correct? So same SAP's softwares, SAP's applications, they are used by that particular client. Client means what? Client is an organization, right? So they use within that particular organization. And all these applications, uh, SAP is giving like a uniformness across all the applications. Now, the question that everybody asks me is, Rizwan, I want a yellow color button. Okay, somehow you can apply yellow color button by writing some CSS here, but what you will do with that yellow? SAP standard applications will not come with any yellow color button. And when the theme has changed, for example, now the theme is Fury underscore 3 underscore dark. Later on in the year 2024, June or December, SAP introduced one more theme. When you use that new theme, your CSS will not work. You have written the CSS, but SAP simply keep your CSS aside and he will use his theme colors. Then your color is gone. And that is what the difference between other technologies and SAP. Okay, so here you need to follow the standards of SAP. Otherwise, he will not support you. Let's say something went wrong in the application. SAP will support you only when you follow his guidelines. If you are not following his guidelines and if you are doing on your own way, then he will say, boss, I already recommended this. You have not followed. Then you don't ask me. Okay, so that's the reason we don't use the custom CSS much. Uh, so we use only the standard CSS that are given by SAP, and even these semantic colors. Semantic colors are not part of the CSS, my dear friends. The semantic colors are given as a standard colors for the entire applications. So wherever you just in a real time, if you go to the Fiori Launchpad and wherever you go to any application, so you find only red, green, and blue colors, blue colored buttons. Okay, all right. Now the buttons can also be kept in so-called footer area. So there is something called the page has the header. So something like the header, you also have something called footer. So let me show you. So this is called the footer. Okay. So even you find the footer here, this is called footer. This is called the header area where your title is there. And this is called the footer area where you can keep some buttons. Okay. Now how to create this footer and how can I keep the buttons inside the footer? Let us see. Outside the content area, so there is a area called footer. There is a area called footer. Now inside the footer, first you need to keep this dark gray color UI element This dark gray colored UI element is called bar. This is called bar. Now this bar UI element, this is a bar UI element. Let us have a look in the output window. Now this bar UI element will occupy the entire footer area. See, this is called bar. You kept a bar. You kept a bar in the footer area. Bar is a UI element, but footer is not a UI element. Footer is a section of the page. It's a separate part. Just like the content is a part of the page, so similarly footer is one of the part. It's a subpart of the page. So in this footer area, I kept this bar UI element. You can easily identify which is a UI element, which is a subpart. The UI element always starts with a capital letter, but the subpart will not start with a capital letter. It starts with a small letter. All right. Now inside the bar UI element, the bar has three subparts. One subpart name is called content left, another subpart name is called content middle, and another subpart name is content right. Now first you need to mention where do you want to keep the button, in the content right or content middle or in the content left. Okay. For example, you brought the AC into your home. First, you need to tell to the technician, where do you want me to fix this AC? In the master bedroom or in the hall or in the kitchen? Sorry, in the child's bedroom. Okay, so same thing. This is a UI element. Now I need to tell where I want to keep my button. So the bar has three parts: content left, content middle, and content right. So I'm choosing content right, and inside the content right, I'm going to place this button. Control X, Control V. Now let us see how it looks. Now you will find your button here. Go to second view, and if I click this, why it is not going to the second view? Let's open the view 1 controller. On press, yeah, it is there. Why it is not going? Go to second view, on press. Did I write the C in small letter? Yes, yesterday while demonstrating, I have written the C in small letter, and I think that's a problem. So now if I click this button, it will navigate to the second view and come back. So basically this is what is bar and the footer. You can also keep some buttons in the footer, and mostly 99.99% the buttons will be kept only in the content right area. However, you can also keep in the content middle and content left. Option is there, but in real-time applications, all the buttons will be kept at the right side. This is a recommendation from SAP. Okay, all right, fine. So we have almost covered all the basic UI elements and their properties. Now, the last thing is margin. So how can I use the margin given by SAP, the standard CSS margin classes? Now, so here, if you see this particular label, enter your name. The letter E is touching almost the view edge. Maybe if it is a small margin, it looks good, correct? So instead of touching this particular view edge, if there is a small margin, it looks good. And even if you see this input field and this button, they are almost close to each other. And if there is a very small margin, it looks very good. Correct? So how can you do this? SAP has given a beautiful magical a CSS class for the margin, and that is UI, SAP UI small margin. By the way, one point I forget to tell you. So here, to increase or decrease the font, I said SAP M H1 font size. Here, H1 is a variable, my dear friends. I forget to tell you. So H1 has the values H1, H2, H3, and so on, H6. So if you use H1, you get smaller font. H2, little big font. H3, more than that. And H6 is the biggest font. Okay, so I forget to tell you. Sorry, H1 is a variable in this entire uh, font size given by SAP. So in place of H1, I can write H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. All right, next, margin class. SAP UI, small margin. So let me write the generic syntax first. SAP UI size. So maybe I will keep a space here, size, space margin, and then space the direction. So here, the size and the direction, these two are variables. Size. This particular size has the values like tiny, small, medium, and large. And this particular direction has the possible values, and they are uh, begin, end, top, bottom. Now you will understand how to use this particular CSS class. Actually, this single CSS class is equal to 16 CSS classes. You might be wondering how. You have written one CSS class and you are saying 16 CSS classes. In this place, how many possible combinations are there? 4. In this place, how many possible combinations are there? 4. So 4 into 4, 16. So this single CSS class you can use in 16 ways basing on the requirement. Basing on the requirement. That's why I said SAP has given a magical CSS class for the margin. Now let me apply one and show you. I want to give some gap between this submit button and this input field. So you need to apply a margin. And to apply the margin, first of all, I need to choose some size and the direction. Okay. So size, maybe I decided to go with the tiny margin. Tiny means the very small margin. And the direction. So where do I need this margin? I need this margin just before this button, right? So before this button, this is called begin direction. This is called top direction. This is called end direction. This is called bottom direction. Every UI element, if you take a UI element, so all 4 sides are nothing but your, so let's say this is the UI element. This UI element can be anything. Okay. Now this is called the begin direction. This is called the end direction. This is called the top direction, and this is called the bottom direction. Now, if you want some margin, so obviously you need to apply this CSS class before this button at the beginning of the button, right? So I will write for my button class equal to SAP UI tiny margin at the begin. Tiny margin begin. Save it, and now you will see the magic. We have not written any CSS in the CSS file, but it works just because of the standard CSS given by SAP. Now you can see the button is not touching the input field. It has a beautiful, nice margin. So this is what you can find in our already developed applications as well. There is a go button, there is a reset button. Without any applying CSS, actually these two buttons touch each other. But I have applied a tiny margin between these two buttons, and that is the reason this has for this button, I applied SAP UI tiny margin at the beginning. So that's why it has given a tiny margin. You can also increase this margin. Instead of tiny, I can say medium or large. Uh, so basing on the size that you are giving here. So as I told you, the size has 4 options. You can use any one of them. Now let us see. So it is refreshing and you will find little big, see, it is more than that, right? It is more than the tiny margin. So, but for these small gaps, the tiny is the one that is more suitable. So we use tiny margin. Okay. Now let us apply the same for the label. So let me copy this label and I will. So SAP UI tiny margin begin for the label. So this will also give a tiny margin for the label. You can experiment with tiny, small, medium, large, all that stuff. So now you can see the letter E is not touching the edge. There is some gap. I don't know if you can able to see it or not, but there is some gap. And even you can maintain the same gap between this input field and the label. So for the input field also I'm applying the same. For the label, I want to increase from tiny to medium. Let's save it, and now we can see. So now we can see there is a small margin. So this is more than tiny. And you can also see that this input field previously touched the star mark, but now there is a tiny margin between these two. Okay. So that's the magical way of developing the applications without writing the CSS. I bet you ask any real-time developers, they will come back and tell you what is standard CSS. Is there anything exists like standard CSS? Can we, use these margins, fonts without writing CSS? Yes, there are many developers like that. Even I take interviews. In the interviews, when I ask them, tell me the standard CSS class for the margin, most of the people they keep some blank faces and they ask me in return, standard CSS. Is there anything such word exist? Yes. Okay, that is the situation because people don't know. They don't know just because it was not initially introduced in SAP UI5. It was introduced after few years and they did not get updated. Okay, so that's all. In today's class, we have discussed the very basic UI elements in SAP UI5 and at the same time, the beautiful standard CSS classes given by SAP. So with this, there is, SAP has made the developer's job very, 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 very easy, guys. So in our already developed application, if you see, I have used many standard CSS classes, many. Okay, so you find when we develop this project, so you will see how we have used all these standard CSS classes without writing any CSS. You no need to write any CSS actually. All right.
Yeah, Rizwan, I have a question.
Yeah.
So Rizwan, that UI page which you have shown just right now, no? So these
Mhm.
designs are like given by the client in the real time, and you need to design in that way, or that design is
Yes.
also
Yes.
like okay,
No. No. The clients will in custom applications. Yeah, the design will be given by the client, or basing on the requirement, the functional people will decide the design. Okay. They come up with
okay,
some mock screens, and those mock screens will be given to you.
okay. Okay, so
Okay.
those design we can implement using these predefined classes and UI element of
See,
using the API
predefined
of the
predefined classes gives you the margins, fonts, and all. That's all. Okay. But the actual
UI.
screen, see this entire screen. I
Mm,
mentioned one point at the beginning of the class, and that is I'm not designing screens.
mm.
Screen designing is a separate topic, and that will come on Monday. Okay.
Okay.
So for
Okay.
screen designing, we use something called layouts.
Okay.
Each
Okay.
layout has a different kind of screen design. Okay. So
Okay.
basing on the requirement, we choose a particular layout. Now within
Okay.
that
Okay.
layout,
Good.
if you want these small margins or increase or decrease of the font and all, there you use this CSS class. Okay. So you will get clarity once we once we start designing the screens on Monday. Okay. Remember, this
Okay.
entire screen is not designed using CSS. No. Okay. CSS
That
is
is
just
what
a
I was
small
thinking.
part. No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. That's totally wrong. Screens are designed by using screen
Mm,
designing layouts. There are
okay.
various layouts. Each layout give you a different kind of screen design. And within that layout, if you want this small margin and all, there you use this topic. This is a small, portion of the entire big screen. For example, if you take your
Mm,
screen as 100%, in 100% we use layout concept 99%. Only in the 1% area where you need this button and this label small margin and all, there you use it. This entire thing is designed by using layouts. Okay.
okay. Got it, Rizwan. Do we have class tomorrow?
Yeah, Saturday we have. Monday to
Okay.
Saturday our
Thank you.
class will go on. Yeah. All right, guys. So I will export this and will give it to you, and we'll meet on tomorrow with the topic, and that is dynamically changing the UI element properties. So very interesting class. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.